Welcome to Theme 3, Operations Management Lecture Snippet. We're going to talk here all about processes. Operations Management is about process management. Last week, the other snippet we looked at, the transformation model. So we're going to look in a bit more detail about that and breaking that down into smaller process steps. So basically a process, we talked before, has got inputs and outputs. But you can look at that at a further level of detail. So, for example, part of the process of transformation from students into graduates is the application process. So we look at a student application, we review that, give you an offer letter, depends on your exam results. Then you get admissions, and you get timetabling. So if you think about admissions is a whole process in itself, and so is timetabling. So we can then break that down into a further level of detail. So there's a hierarchy of processes. Starts off with a kind of mission, then you get a core process, sub-process, task, like this example here. So a core process of getting a degree is to pass a module, and then breaking that further, tasks go to a lecture, and we can break that down even further into minute process detail. And often that's what operations try to do, because if you get the detail right, then the processes work smoothly, mechanically, and you can get a good outcome, which relates back to having speed, dependability, reliability, flexibility, etc. And it comes from understanding how the processes, what we call, are mapped in this example here. To do that, we use some standard symbols to help us give us some powerful analysis of those different process steps. So we can have circles for an operation that directly adds value. We've got a square for an inspection, transport, storage, etc. Sometimes we have to make a decision, or the customer has to make a decision. So you can see here that pretty much anything that's not a circle is not adding value. So straight away that gives you an idea about how you can maybe re-engineer your processes to get better speed, better quality, better dependability, etc. and obviously lower cost. So here's an example of IKEA Process Map. So you notice here that sometimes we've combined symbols where there may be two different types, and again that's a powerful way of using those analysis tools. So first of all, we review the catalogue, then we travel to the store, we have to park, then we move through the store. Now that's both a transport activity, but also it adds value because people are seeing what they could buy. They're looking at kind of layouts of furniture in rooms where they might buy more than one piece of furniture, so there's some added value there. You get some advice when you're going around. You can go to the cafe, then you pick up or choose your items, then you have to wait in the queue, you have to pay, then you have to get your car and pack your car. Also, think about the whole process here. You have to get it home and you have to unpack and assemble it, which is adding value, and part of the kind of the effectiveness of IKEA is the quality of the furniture and how easy it is to put together. Different processes have different types. We can think about how they might change. So something a bit like the 4V, something that has high variety or high volume, is more likely to be what we call a continuous process, or a mass process like producing a car. Where you move further to having more variety, lower volume, you get more specialist. So for example, at the moment having flu jabs, they're done in batches, so you go to one clinic, it's running on a Saturday, and they just do one person after another in a batch. Go to the dentist, it's fundamentally the same process, whoever goes, but it's tailored to particularly your mouth. So some people might get a filling or a polish. They're not done in batches, it's individual, but they are similar, and we call that a jobbing type process. And finally, there's a project process, which is a one-off, like building a ship's a one-off process, or floating a Federal Stock Exchange, an investment bank, is a one-off process, which we call a project. And you can see here that the size of the boxes indicate where they might, the number of operations that are probably likely to fall in that. So batch processes are much more common, and there is overlap between them. It's not a definite it's either one or the other. If you're in the end of those boxes, you could kind of have the characteristics of either of them. Now this slide here, I'm not going to read it out, but this has different characteristics or implications of those different types of processes, and it's useful to understand where your process lies, because then you can think about how you can make it more effective, and also to think about, are you in the right part of the process type. Maybe you're in batch, but maybe you should really doing it in a jobbing type style, and it has implications for how you lay out your operation, which we're going to come to later on in the themes.